Championship Sunday is here. We are back with the fellas once again to break it all down. Picks, props, DFS. If you're still doing best ball leagues, they still got those going, I believe, on DK and FanDuel. And also for this weekend as well, you can get your best ball teams just for this set of games. So we'll have it all broken down for you guys here on the Fantasy Savvy channel. And we will be going into full game, each game through full detail. So make sure you guys are liking, subscribing to the show, following the show all season long. I appreciate everybody who has joined in throughout the year. And, we'll be back once again next week for the Super Bowl, and then we'll have some shows in the off season as well. So let's get into it. We got two really good games Sunday. We'll briefly get into the divisional round and just some, quick thoughts on that. And then we'll get into the two games. We got some extra time. We only got two games to talk about. So that's it. We'll come back on the other side and we'll get into all of it. Okay, we are back. What's going on, fellas? How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing great, Steve. Hey, that's an intro I can get on board with. That's what I'm talking about.
Was that the right one there? With did I upload the Drake May more featured one? I think I missed that, but
yeah,
I'll put it on one more time. I'll input it while you guys are talking, and we'll just play it out of nowhere. So regardless, we'll play it next week too. But yeah, man. So a lot of controversy from last week. Some crazy games. So Joe, I'll start with you. What is one game or a couple games you want to really touch on before we get into this week's, this Sunday's games?
Well, the Bills Broncos game, I'm pretty shocked that the Bills lost this game. The controversy, was it a catch? Was it not a catch? Brandon Cook's play. It was really close. Steve, I saw your take on social media. I kind of agree with you. No matter what the call on the field was probably gonna be how they were gonna rule it. So yeah. If it went the other way, it would have been a catch. If they ruled it an interception, so it stayed an interception. I thought the pass interference calls at the end were a little bit ticky-tacky as well. I think the refs kind of put their hand in too much at the end of a playoff game. I hate to see games end that way. I know the rules are the rules, but it was like a fraction of a second too early. I thought it was a pretty good play. I mean, I played cornerback when I played football, and I didn't think he did anything egregious on those plays. They were both kind of, they could have let it go. They could have let him play, but they didn't. And the Broncos, credit the Broncos. They were the most penalized team defensively this year, and they played pretty disciplined throughout this whole game. They may have gotten away with one or two as well, but we can't blame the game on the refs. It was a good football game. Denver did just enough to pull out the win. What we seen develop in the past couple of days with Bills ownership is pretty embarrassing. I don't think Sean McDermott deserved to be fired. Maybe they did need a change, but the way they tossed him under the bus, the way they tossed Keon Coleman under the bus, and after the general manager not taking, earlier in the year, he was claiming Keon as his pick, and now the real truth is that was on the coaching staff. So Everybody's pointing the finger all over the place. Poor Josh Allen's crying his eyes out. It's just an ugly situation all around with Buffalo, and nothing but bad vibes there. So, it's kind of a sucky week. They lost the way they lost, and the way that organization is being run right now. It's just bad. Patriots did a pretty good job beating the Texans. I'm not surprised. I said the score, 23-19, 28-16. It's about the same. I guess the Patriots offense played better than I expected even. They threw 3 passing touchdowns. No team all year was able to do that against Houston. They got that done. So they're going into Denver, another tough defense. We'll get into that game when we get there. But Seahawks blowing out the 49ers, I'm not surprised by that at all. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout, but definitely not surprised. Seahawks losing Zach Charbonnet. It's going to make it interesting this week against the Rams. Personally, I think it might be a good thing because now you're going to see full-time Kenny Walker, and I think that might benefit Seattle against the Rams, considering Walker's, what he have averaging. He averaged over 9 yards a carry against the Rams the last time they played, I believe. So it's going to be interesting to see there. And the Rams ending the Bears' magic this year with a 2017 win. It's about what I expected and knew it was going to be a close game. And I thought the Rams would pull it out, by a field goal. And I pretty much got that one right, too. So I'm not surprised by a lot of the results other than the Denver Buffalo game. But, credit to Denver.
Yeah, Joey, we missed you last week, man. Glad you could join us tonight. Great to have you back. Being the Bills fan you are, what are your thoughts on first that catch? I mean, I don't know, man. Like I feel like Cooks caught it. I know it happened so fast, but McMillan basically stole it from him while he was on the ground. So, I don't know what a catch is. Or, it's like Joe said. I think if they would have ruled it on the field a catch, they wouldn't reverse it. But what do you think about that play? And then also, what do you think about the McDermott thing? And shout out to Steve G jumping in the chat, joining us once again. He's saying the scariest part is they promoted Bean. So it's like a total shot in the face, seems like, to McDermott. You can McDermott, then you promote Bean. And, it really wasn't the coach's fault. I mean, McDermott's had 30-plus points allowed in a lot of these playoff games, but they're injured. They've had tons of injuries. Right. That touchdown at the end of the half was rough, but you could tell, and Bean was the arrogant one and, in that interview, and they haven't added the receivers. They haven't the weapons. So what are your thoughts on what happened with the Bills this weekend?
It was pretty rough, about going back what Joe was talking about, them losing, but Josh Allen was careless there first half, and 10 points they gave up at the end of the first half was costly. But ownership is nuts right now. I like to ask Bean one question. As a Bills fan, you grew up and you ain't going to take the blame for Keon Coleman. Let me ask you about Dalton Kincaid. I'm just going to say he's overrated. I mean, I just think he's just a guy. He's just a 3 for 30 guy, like a normal tight end. But I do think it was a catch, which I go back to my favorite wide receiver back when Calvin Johnson. I thought he caught that one. And he was just getting up, but they dropped it. So
Des Bryant.
Yeah. I was just going to say that.
In Lambeau, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a catch. But I thought always it went to the offensive player. And it looked like the same thing happened. Was it Devontae Adams?
It was similar. Yeah, and even the worthy play from last year. So I don't know. Is it the stop, drop, and roll rule? Do you have to roll after you catch it? I mean, is it a fire marshal bill? I don't know what the frick's going on.
And one thing too, when y'all talk about the ownership, I mean, with the way they're throwing people under the bus, having Josh Allen, that's an attractive job, but people may be skeptical wanting to go there now. I mean, dealing with Bean and the owner, I don't know.
Well, that's why maybe do you think they're going to hire Dable?
Probably. They possibility. They may have to go back almost like in-house again with somebody they had before.
So then Brady's out of there, right? I mean, if David,
Brady, I think he interviewed for the job, right?
Brady did interview for the
He
job,
did.
but
Exactly.
I mean,
David
they could stay in house with him too.
Out.
Because who else are you really going to bring in? I guess maybe Clint Kubiak. I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, I think Fitzpatrick kind of made a good point about Allen. He's like he needs like an older, more disciplinary coach than more like a friend to friend coach. He needs somebody to kind of like elevate him to that next level, which I kind of agree with.
Yeah, I do too.
Josh, what do you got for this weekend, man? What do you want to touch on?
I'll hit on the same thing. I guess my thing is if we're gonna kind of use the out on instant replay as well, you can't view it in slow motion. It's how's it called in full speed? Well, then why are we doing it in instant replay and slowing it down if that's not really coming into effect on the play? But at the end of the day, I mean, you always look at that one play at the end of the game, but there was 6 or 7 other plays before that were, that if they would have gone a different way, make the outcome different. And, I don't fault Josh Allen too much other than on the play right before halftime where he fumbled. And I think that's a result of a quarterback who feels like it's all on him to win the game. There was with no timeouts or anything. It was just no reason for him to run up the middle of the field. It was just a boneheaded play, and it ended up biting him. And I mean, you just almost knew when that happened, like, man, this freaking 10-point swing right here. This is not good. This is going to cost him the game. Bill's ownership, it's toxic. That whole thing's toxic. If I told my son earlier today, if I was Josh Allen and I saw that interview, I immediately, before I even finished watching the press conference, I pick up the phone and I call Keon Coleman and say, hey, that dude signs your checks, but I'm your quarterback. Like, just put that out of your mind. And I'm Keon Coleman. I'm calling my agent and saying, ask for a release. I don't want no part of this team. I don't want to be in this town. Get me out of here. That was one of the crazier things that I've seen. And honestly, it's really disappointing because, some of these guys are still just kids out there playing the game, and you've got ownership that's responsible for putting the correct leadership there to teach these guys and to grow them. And Bean and whoever
he scored a touchdown too. He scored a freaking touchdown.
He's been decent in spurts, but there's something else that goes on because he was a healthy scratch like 3 times down the stretch of the season there. So I don't know. I don't know who would want to take that job. They might be stuck with a Daboll or a Brady,
right?
Because other than that, maybe nobody wants to go there now after seeing the way that went down. Like, what's that locker room going to be like anyways? So I don't know. You got a team with a lot of potential there that all of a sudden it's like you just dropped a bomb in the middle of it.
It's crazy because the Bills,
who knows?
One of their strengths was their team chemistry. I mean, they were just like, they had everything, and now all of a sudden it's like a huge breakup. And, I guess the owner definitely takes some blame there, trying to defend Bean. But then you see these videos, from the draft process at the combine where he's like, chewing freaking popcorn or nuts all loud and stuff. And he's talking about how this is better because we're going to get Coleman because he runs a 4.5, just like Gabe Davis did. So it's similar to that Joe Shane thing when he was trying to, play off, drafting Jackson Dart because – he was trying to like almost set it up. So it was similar to that, where both guys kind of got caught on camera. So, but Bean, to his credit, he kind of did take it back. He said, I still wanted Keon. It wasn't all on the coaches. He kind of said that as well. So yeah, it's tough for McDermott. I feel like if you're going to fire him, which I feel like you could have fired him. Like, there's reasons there to fire him for sure. But I think you got to let go of Bean too. But I guess the owner wanted the stability. They must have a good relationship. So, that's his decision. The guy's a businessman. Natural gas and oil, I think, is his business. He built all his money on. So, we'll see how it all comes. But, I wouldn't be surprised if this turns sour. And I was saying on X, we could see Josh Allen, and it's possible in a different uniform at some point, which would be crazy to think about. But
going into a brand new stadium, and just so much turmoil. It's just crazy. It's crazy.
Mike, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I just want to touch on first the Bears and the Rams game. I mean, that was obviously a great, unbelievable play by Williams, and I agree with them kicking the extra point because they were struggling the previous possession. They got stopped on downs. They couldn't, they didn't really. That 2-yard play wasn't in the cards for them at the moment. But the problem I have with when they won the coin toss, there's no way I would have kicked the ball. This is not regulation. This is sudden death. Becomes sudden death after 2 possessions. The way the game was going, it was low scoring. You could see, Stafford was 20 for 42 in the game. The chances of them getting a touchdown, I'll take the ball first because the key is they would get the 3rd possession, and it's sudden death then. It's a numbers game to me. You take the ball first because if the Rams scored, if you scored touchdown, even if the Rams scored touchdown, you get that next possession, end the game. It's just a numbers game. It was bad. That's the wrong decision. I'll stand.
You brought
by
up a good point, Michael, in the chat that the Rams had been on defense for a good stretch.
Also, thanks for reminding me.
Overtime, and if the Bears take the ball, they got to jump right back out there again.
They were depressed.
So
the defense. How we're human beings. If that just happened to me, and that stadium went crazy, and then you gave them a break. Basically, it was dumb. I'll stand by it. But I agree with kicking the extra point there. If you looked at one of the plays they showed when Swift got blown up. Or in White at Doomsday, a rookie just missed the block, just didn't block. That's what that's what happens with rookies. And I'll just touch on the Bean thing. The other games, pretty much Joe, basically gave the recap on that.
Oh, he did good.
Bean, I think, for him to say the comment that the coaching staff, you got a whole scouting department. How could he even put on a coaching staff? Coaching staff, they coach. You're worried about your scouting department. This guy looked it up. This guy was the assistant GM under Gettleman. Rivera was the coach, and McDermott was the defensive coordinator there. This guy was lucky to get that job. What did he really do in Carolina? He wasn't the main guy, the general manager. He got lucky. Now I don't know, the owner's not a bright guy. At least he hasn't been a bright guy. I think you mentioned something about the Sabres, and I looked it up. I mean, he's the guy that got rid of Jack Eichel, Ryan O'Reilly, and Sam Reinhart. Three Stanley Cup. Those guys went
14 straight years without the. When I read that, I don't follow hockey.
But those players went.
That's Jets level. That's Jets type shit right there.
Eichel's one of the best players in the league, man.
Absolutely,
talent wise.
He's from your area.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. But I don't know. If I'm a Buffalo fan, I'm not too optimistic because you don't really the management, especially that guy. He's wearing 2 hats now, 2 heavy hats.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't.
Well,
the failure's on him, and I think the owner. I don't know why the owner sided with him. Who knows? I think McDermott might end up if he. I don't know what he's going to do this year if he takes another head coaching job, but if he doesn't, I could see him being the DC and I guess DC and for the Giants because he was with Harbaugh in Philadelphia under Andy Reid.
He's going to sit back and wait till that Jets so he can go whip up.
Philly would be a
I
good
don't know what he
spot
wants
for
to
him.
do. He could go. That's a place if he doesn't, want to jump into a head coaching job.
Yeah.
It's a possibility, but yeah, I feel for Bob. I don't think the Josh Allen, he's going to turn 30. In May, I think, or March or May.
Yeah.
They could. I don't know if they. If he, I guess the only way he leaves there if he pushes for it, I guess.
And I will say this. Joe's New England Patriots is putting pressure on this Buffalo team too. The championship window is closing for my Buffalo Bills. Vrabel and Kraft and Drake May. That's more pressure being in that same division now. You've owned it for the last few years now. Drake May and them. I know there's a lot more pressure in Buffalo. New stadium, like Josh was mentioning. New England's going to probably rule that division for a while.
Yeah, you're right, because Vrabel's a hell of a coach. One thing he's different than the other, he's a defensive guy, but he played under Belichick, not like the other guys that were, assistants under Belichick. Maybe this guy, he just knows how to coach.
Yeah.
He looks like he commands the locker room. He's not going to make. He's really. He's not a guy who's asleep at the wheel. He pays attention to every part of the team.
Vrabel got a 1 seed with the Titans with Ryan Tannehill, so that just goes to show you he knows what the hell he's doing.
Right.
Yeah. And they went into Kansas City. I mean, they gave him a run for a little bit.
And they also picked off Brady in that game. They beat the Patriots. What was that? Logan Ryan had that pick 6 against them.
Yeah, I mean,
big upset.
Coach, that's going to be a difference.
But yeah, I mean, you also got to deal with Mahomes coming back with a vengeance, Burrow coming back with a vengeance, Lamar now. They just hired Jesse Minter. Steve G says, guys, I don't know about your opinions, but some of these coaching hires are making me depressed with the fantasy outlook. What specific coaches are you referring to? Also, Mike McDaniels, now with the Chargers, maybe
that one I like.
I think that one I like. He's saying because I was telling Joey, the only offensive guy that was hired was Stefanski. All these guys are DCs. I mean, they only had 2 of them. Only had the DC for 1 year.
Well, your Cardinals offensive coordinator went to Detroit.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just a Kyler Murray issue because when Brissett stepped in there, the offense started to flourish a little bit. Granted, a lot of it was garbage time, but
right,
we'll see. I mean, I don't know how
it's
much
good for
good
Laporta.
that is. What's that?
Maybe it's good for Laporta.
Yeah, true.
And I tell you too, Marion Hampton's going to be big next year because Mike McDaniel runs the ball more than what people realize than just throwing it around. But he runs.
Yeah. He likes to throw to his backs too, so that could be good for Hampton and Vidal.
Exactly, yeah.
It's not just like you're running. It's you're running right. You run. It's those running plays are sophisticated to get guys like Hampton into space so they can explode with big plays.
Some of that could be Tua too. Like he was just limited. I mean, Tua had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I would hope. And you could kind of tell it's more of a Tua issue than a McDaniel issue. Like Herbert could get the ball downfield. So, this passing game, we'll see how McDaniel does there. But I do think it's a pretty good hire. He's a pretty good offensive mind. Greg Cosell was saying today that he had extensive conversations with McDaniel when he went out to like a camp out in California. And he thinks he's a really, really bright
guy.
So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
There's a big chemistry with him and Harbaugh. They're like 2 different personalities, but I think you know what I'm saying. But
that's a weird meeting.
Kind of like easygoing a little bit, like they're kind of like in that sense.
He didn't want a head coaching job, obviously, because he probably could have. I guess he decided these teams that are some of them. He just wasn't.
Nobody wants to go to Cleveland.
I was surprised, the guys flying commercial though. Somebody had a picture. Oh, I'm on a plane, but he came out of Detroit with the interview. McDaniel, he was going to Tennessee. He was on their commercial flight. I said, "What's this? They're flying this guy commercial? They can't get him a private jet." The interview.
Real quick. The Buffalo situation, obviously the play by Allen at the end of the half, that's something you haven't seen from him in a long time. He kind of did that early in his career, 6 straight games without a turnover. That was just a boneheaded play. He must have been underrating Benito. Benito is an absolute stud. So we'll get into that, but Drake May's got to be ready for that pressure because he's been fumbling a lot. But yeah, Allen cannot make that play. The one sack was a blindside hit. Shakir missed the block. The other deep pass, a little underthrown, but Hafunga made a great play. And then the last play obviously was an interception, called on that Cooks play. But the one play I want to talk about real quick before we get on to the Sunday games is the Caleb Williams, the last play to DJ Moore, because everybody's kind of shitting on DJ Moore on that play. What I saw from that play was DJ Moore and him. DJ Moore was kind of like waiting for Dunze to clear. They were kind of running a dagger route, or like he was running a deep cross. And supposedly it was like a newer play, just installed. So it was kind of like it was raw to everybody. But it looked like DJ Moore kind of wanted to take it deep, and Caleb thought he was going to run it underneath. So like Caleb said, it kind of was a miscommunication. But people were saying he kind of dragged towards the end. I just think the throw was so far right. I don't think DJ Moore even had a shot to even catch it. I think he's played receiver enough, to understand, what if he could catch a ball or not. So DJ Moore stepped up for them in the playoffs. He made some big catches. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that last play.
I think the play itself was surprising because they were moving the ball, Chip, consistent, running the ball, nothing, high risk. And that play was probably, the longest play on that drive up to that. And they were moving the ball. I would thought they were almost in field goal range. So why take it? I mean, I don't know if that was the play call or that was just a decision. Caleb made that decision. Maybe that wasn't the first read.
It was second down. Supposedly he had Monangai underneath.
I don't know why he took that risk to begin with. Because they were moving. I thought they were going to move and beat the Rams.
Well, he's still a young player. He's still learning.
Yeah,
again, it was a newer play. So that's part
just
of it.
Saying maybe it's just a play calling there, really.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody want to touch on anything else from the divisional games or want to touch on any of the coaching changes? Steve keeps talking, just said Stefanski is a good hire. Not sure about Reese. Also, Jesse Minter, Chargers defensive coordinator, goes to the Ravens today as well. And that seems like a good hire. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out. But anybody else want to touch on anything before we get into the Sunday's games?
Yeah, Steve made a comment that, everybody's going to steam Hampton up into the first round. But I just want to say that, his upside is RB1 with Mike McDaniels as the offensive coordinator. Justin Herbert is a borderline elite. I think if you put him in the right situation with the healthy offensive line, proper play calling, better game scripts, easier third downs, not so many third down and longs. Hampton stays healthy. It wouldn't surprise me if he finishes RB1. So I don't think
Vidal still stays involved there, though.
If he does go at the 1-2 turn, I don't think you're overpaying. It's just whether or not you want to burn that draft pick on a running back right there. So,
and I think it goes to
I do think it's his upside is RB1, so properly priced.
And I think it depends on the drafter. All 5 of us is different. I mean, it depends on if you feel comfortable if you want to take Hampton. I might not. I might at the back end. I may go hero or wide receiver, running back. Or I may go wide receiver. I guess it's what you feel comfortable with drafting him there. I see the upside, and I think Vidal will be involved too because, he used Ollie Gordon. Did he use Wright? He used Wright some too, didn't he?
Oh, he uses multiple running backs for sure. We definitely can't forget about Vidal. But
yeah,
I think the the upside is there.
Yeah, before Hampton got hurt, that he was impressive. He was looking tough, and that was with the banged up offensive line. So creative offensive play caller, healthy offensive line, and I don't think he has to he has to be the bell cow, he can still. I think he's still going to be in a great position to put up a bunch of points.
Yeah, I don't think I'm taking any chances in the first couple of rounds anymore. Like, I just want to give me the guys that have proven it for the past couple of years. You know, give me a Monra again. I'll take him. You know, and I never draft him.
Yeah,
I'll go after the
100%.
I don't know. A new coaching staff, maybe it changes for him. I don't know. So that's a risk too. But you think with
gamer,
with Williams still there.
I mean, he played that one game. He wanted to come back on Thanksgiving. And next week, I mean, he was dynamite, and his ankle was hurting him. I mean, the guy he doesn't want to be off the field, and
he's tough.
He's a gamer. That's what you want. You want him on the field. That's the problem. A lot of times, guys are not available.
Yeah, I mean, like if Dan Campbell's still the head coach, Monra is still going to be. So it's like, I'll go back to it again. All right, that's it. Let's get into Sunday. Both games on Sunday, Championship Sunday. First game is Patriots at Broncos, 3:00. Weather does not look to be a factor. Just going to be cold. Looks like 20 degrees. No wind, no snow in Denver. So, it'll be cold, but that's something that obviously Patriots are used to. We'll see about the altitude. Joe, I'll start with you here. You're the Patriots fan. How you feeling about Jarrett Stidham coming in? And first of all, I'll talk about Jarrett Stidham real quick. I saw him playing the Raiders. He had that one good game. He did play for the Patriots, actually. The Raiders signed him, so maybe you have a little bit of history on him. You could touch on him. But I think he'll do a pretty decent job. Their defense is kind of leaking points here. We'll see if J.K. Dobbins returns. They're also trying to get their center back. They're down to they could be down to their third center. We'll see, but their second or original center is practicing full today. Pat Bryant, he's practicing full, but still needs to be cleared. It sounds like Troy Franklin's going to be out. But Joe, I'll start with you in this game.
As far as Jarrett Stidham goes, back in 2020 when we had him and Cam Newton, he couldn't beat Cam Newton out for the starting job, so he was our backup then. I don't think he's that much of a drop off from Bo Nix. I mean, Bo Nix definitely carries an element where, he's got he's more athletic. He can run the ball. I think there's some design runs for Bo Nix. I think that if the defensive line gets through, Bo Nix could, not take a sack. He could get himself out of pressure, be able to throw the ball away. I think that's where it's the difference between him and Stidham. I think Stidham will probably end up taking more sacks. Denver's offensive line is pretty solid. Definitely one of the better units in the league. But the Patriots defense the past few weeks have been elite. They've been better than the Broncos defense, in my opinion. And we know that the Broncos defense is also a top 5 unit. So, like I mentioned earlier, the Patriots just play, they play the Chargers defense, which they're top 5 pass defense in the NFL. They gave, Drake. I thought Drake May was pretty shaky in that game. And I thought he was definitely going to have turnovers last week against Houston, but he came out and he threw 3 touchdown passes on that defense. And, nobody during the regular season was able to do that. So the Patriots have such a superior offense compared to Denver. Even with Bo Nix as the starter, I had the Patriots comfortably winning this game. Let's see, the over under is 42.5. The spread's 4.5. I think they cover the points. I do think it stays under though. 42.5 is a lot. Let me see. I do think both teams are going to turn the ball over in this at least once, maybe even 2 times apiece. Stidham I think the Patriots are gonna play back and let him make mistakes. I think that, you know, the Patriots have been blitzing 38% of the time, which is pretty much the same rate as Denver. I could see them toning that down just a little bit until they get a lead. The Patriots are going to have success running the football. Denver was pretty good against the run all year, but in these playoffs, they've been giving up chunk plays. Like James Cook looked pretty good last week against them on the ground. And while their defensive unit is solid, I don't think they're dominant. And the Patriots have quite a bit of pass catching options. Kayshon Boutte has looked phenomenal the past couple of weeks. Shout out to you, Mike, for riding that horse the last couple of weeks. He's surprised me. He's made one of the best touchdown catches I've seen in recent years last week. Denver's 17th against tight ends. So Hunter Henry, even Austin Hooper, the Patriots are going to be able to – they have so many options that I think that they're going to find ways to move the ball on the Denver defense. Do I think that they're going to blow them out? No. I have the score. My score prediction for this one is Patriots 24-13. I think Denver gets a touchdown. It could be either defensive or offensive. I'm leaning towards offensive, though, especially if Pat Bryant is healthy. I could see him. He's probably my pick for Denver, for a Denver player to get in the end zone. It'd be interesting if J.K. Dobbins plays. That's definitely going to help Denver a lot. I think R.J. Harvey is, even though he's been elusive, the Patriots are very physical defense, and I think that they'll cause problems for R.J. Harvey in the run game. But, Harvey's more effective as a pass catcher. And if I'm Denver, that's how I would be using him in this game. I wouldn't be necessarily relying on him to get 15 to 20 carries and move the chains for me. I think that would be a futile game plan if they plan on limiting Stidham's passing attempts, which, according to Sean Payton, he's apparently just going to let him rip. So, but I think people are underestimating the Patriots defense. And, this is a backup quarterback that hasn't thrown a pass in a real NFL game since 2023. Like I said, I had the Patriots beating them even with Bo Nix. So I'm expecting the Patriots to have pretty good control over this game. I think the only way that they could lose this game is if Drake May makes some costly mistakes early on and Denver gets a lead. If Denver gets a lead, they'll have a little bit of a chance to upset the Patriots here. But, Patriots are undefeated on the road this year, so I'm not worried about Denver having home field advantage. I know in the past, it was probably the stadium that Tom Brady struggled the most in, but we're not talking about Tom Brady. We're talking about Drake May. We're talking about Mike Vrabel. I think we have the coaching edge. I think we have the quarterback edge. It's not even close. And just going by the last few weeks, I think our defense is playing better than Denver's defense as well. So that's how I'm reading this game. Denver's also 8-10 against the spread. Now I know that they're usually favorites and they're home underdogs, and the home underdog is undefeated when it's 4 or more points, or I forget what the actual number is, but home underdogs in the playoffs the last 50 years against the spread, also undefeated. So something's got to give here. I'm just, over the last 50 years, I mean, how many of those teams were playing their backup quarterback with no prior regular season reps? Like you want to bring up Nick Foles. Nick Foles he played that entire playoffs when he came in and beat us. So
also in the regular season, he had a couple of games, even though one of them wasn't great. But you're right, absolutely right.
Yeah, this guy's coming in straight up cold. I know he's been on the team for 3 years. He knows the playbook, yada yada. But I don't know. I just don't think, like I mentioned last week, Houston don't have enough firepower. I don't think Denver has enough firepower to beat the Patriots in the playoffs.
Yeah, even Jeff Hostetler, who I've referenced a couple times, he came in before the playoffs started as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a prop. Oh, my one prop is Austin Hooper, 15 plus receiving yards.
All right. Anything on the total or the side here?
I like the under, and I like the Patriots to cover the 4.5.
Yeah. Apologies if my screen keeps freezing.
you're okay.
I had my hat down earlier just to kind of keep one frame. If you guys noticed that, so I'll go back to that again. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to call StreamYard customer service and get elite customer service from them tomorrow. But yeah, so Patriots are giving 4.5 here. Obviously, the Stidham effect here. The over/under is 42.5. 75% of the cash is on the Patriots. 71% of the tickets is also on the Patriots. So people are fading Jared Stidham here. 54% of the cash is on the over, 46% on the under. But a lot of people are fading Stidham, just like our boy Joshua here, who is absolutely smashing Stidham here. In the chat. No one talked about Stidham as even a serviceable QB in 7 years, but now all of a sudden Denver is acting like he's a starting caliber player. Nick Foles also had 2 to 3 full seasons as a starter. The one thing I'll say about – go ahead.
I was going to say one point I didn't mention that's in my notes here that I just realized I forgot to mention was the point differential for the regular season. The Patriots plus 170. The Broncos are only plus 90. And I want to say the Patriots are plus 85 in like their last 3 or 4 games. So that right there just tells me how much more dominant the Patriots are than the Broncos. And I don't want to hear this easy schedule crap because Denver had pretty much just as easy as
their
of a
schedule was pretty easy too. Yeah,
they had the 3-14 Raiders. They had a offensive line depleted Chargers. They had a 6-11 falling apart Kansas City Chiefs team with Rashee Rice drama and everything else. And yeah, it's. The Patriots are the more physical, more dominant team with the better quarterback. It's a no-brainer for me.
One thing I'll say about Stidham is he's been there for a few years now. He definitely knows the system. I remember when I watched him in that Raiders game that was like a Week 17 game. I was like, it looks pretty damn good. I mean, he had a nice game, but like Joe said, hasn't started since 2023. Trying to bring up
hasn't even thrown a pass. Never mind.
Four career starts, 2 with the Raiders. I mean, no pressure there.
Right.
I mean, you're right. He's in the experience factors is on the bottom as far as you can go.
Yeah, that game I think I'm talking about. They lost to San Francisco in overtime. He threw for 365 yards, 23 of 34, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. But I remember watching him later, and he kind of he didn't look as good after that. So you never know what you're going to get, but it is a good system. McVay is very smart about keeping, quarterbacks managed. But I don't know how they're going to run the ball here, and you're going to miss Troy Franklin. We'll see if Pat Bryant even gets cleared. Josh, what are your thoughts on this game?
Bryant did get cleared. He cleared concussion protocol.
Oh, he did. Okay. I didn't know
Brian's good to go.
Dr. Chow, I was listening to Dr. Chow, and he's like, "There's no way because this is his second concussion, just like Nico, even though he's back at practice." And then I was just reading up on it, and I saw that he practiced in full, but I didn't see he got cleared. Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. At least that's what I heard. That's what I heard this afternoon. So, I don't know if somebody else heard something different, but I heard he was cleared.
No, I heard the same stuff, Josh. I think he's in. Troy Franklin, on the other hand, might not be, but
with the hamstring, that's
soft tissue.
That's tough. the Broncos don't really have any choice but to juice up Stidham. You know, I mean, they're stuck with him this week, so that's what they gotta build his confidence, whether it's in the media or whatever. But I mean, we've seen it with some of these veteran quarterbacks that have been backups, and I mean, I know he doesn't have the playing time, but he's been with Peyton for a few years, and you've got a veteran coach that's. Whether you like him or not, he's a smart guy. He's gonna try to come up with a good game plan there. I think Dobbins could be key. I don't know how healthy he is, but if he's able to play and provide anything, that might help. I think for Denver to pull it out, I think it's going to take a defensive touchdown from them. Their defense is going to have to pick up the slack for what the offense can't do. But I like the Patriots this weekend. I think that with Drake May and their offense and the way their defense is playing, I think they're just too much for the Broncos. And I don't, when to your point, Joe, about people saying that the Patriots had an easy schedule or this and that, you can only play who's on your schedule. You can't help if they're easy or not. And you still got to go out and beat them, and it's the playoffs now. So the Patriots have proven it in the playoffs to me. So I don't know why they can't go to Denver and put it on.
They've had to go against 3 top 5 defensive units. The Chargers are top 5. The Broncos, the Texans top 5. The Broncos top 5. There's no easy path there. If you ask me,
and ultimately, if they win the whole thing, nobody can say anything about their regular season because they're gonna end up playing either the Rams or the Seahawks, and that's not going to be an easy way to go either. So, but I like the Patriots. I'm fully on board with them. My prop is Stidham's going to have to throw the ball because they're playing from behind, and I like his over 32.5 pass attempts this week.
I like that.
I will say real quick because we didn't go over it, but we are 33 of 60 on our props in the playoffs. Dan's got 8. Me, Joe, and Joey each have 5. Michael's got 6. And Steve's got 4. We got robbed on a Charbonnet injury, a Tonjes injury, and Michael got robbed on Sutton last week. His line was over 4.5 catches and over 54.5 yards, and he had 4 catches and 53 yards. And a couple targets at the end.
If Franklin and Brian don't come out,
we were close to hitting one.
Gets that, because they had nobody else to focus. I mean, they let Mims. He had they're going to let Mims and the other guy. They're going to.
Jordan.
They took Sutton out of the game to the last drive.
I'm glad you brought up Mims. I will say this: the special teams unit for the Patriots has been a bit suspect, and they need to be careful about putting the ball in Marvin Mims' hands on the punts and the kickoffs and the punts. There's
Joey,
something to note there.
Good point, Joe. Joey, I'm going to go to you. How much do you think here? The last 2 games for the Patriots against the Chargers, their offensive line decimated, but Patriots made a lot of plays on defense. And then even against the Texans, Stroud just, the last 2 games for him have been absolutely hideous. I don't know what he's doing on that one play, the pick 6 by Marcus Jones. I mean, that's just totally inexcusable. But how much do you think this is the Patriots defense causing issues versus the quarterbacks just being, not the quarterbacks, but maybe Stroud, but obviously we know the problems with the Chargers all year, but maybe the offense is being inept in their own right.
Yeah, I can see that. But one thing I will say, I think the defense is really good for New England. I seen a stat I wished I'd seen. I told Joe earlier. Between the wild card and divisional round, Patriots is the 3rd team since I know Baltimore defense in 2005 to give up a total of 500 yards and fewer than 20 points in those 2 games. That's only been done 3 times. I can't remember the other team who it was. There's 3 teams. But, I mean, they did face Herbert. That's a good offense usually. But the defense is legit in New England. I think they're a pretty good unit. I like them, and I think they win this game. But I will say this. I know we're all talking about Stidham, but pressure is on Surtain of them. They've got to give this man a short field, run the ball, get in field goal range. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm just saying there's more pressure to me on this defense than they are Stidham. I mean, I know Stidham ain't done nothing, probably won't do nothing, but there's more pressure on Denver's D in this game than they are the quarterback. They've got to give him short field. They got to stay on their side of the field. They got to get turnovers somehow. But now they get a lot of sacks. They've not really been a good fantasy. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. They've not really been a great fantasy defense that you would draft. Like I drafted them. I'm guilty of it. I don't think they really got a defensive touchdown toward the end of the year. So, like I said, I think that the defense is playing really well. I mean, they're a good unit for New England. Really good. They're legit.
Yeah, I agree. Patriots defense is, again, they bring in all those weapons this year, all those signings, and they get Spillane and Milton Williams back, and those guys have made a difference the last 2 weeks, just erasing the running game.
Right.
Last 2 weeks that nobody could do anything. Freaking Woody Marks has the game of his life and then turns back into the Jag that I think he has 14 carries, 17 yards, whatever the hell it was. So, yeah, that was absolutely hideous.
And that's what's so bad for Denver, like you all talking about Stidham. And you can't run on New England. You stack the box, you're going to make him throw it, like Josh said, 32 and a half.
He's missing Franklin. Pat Bryant is cleared now, but yeah, it's going to be tough. Maybe they get Dobbins back, and maybe Dobbins gives them a little bit of a lift. It's possible. I mean, Dobbins will have fresh legs, which will be a good thing. Do you have any props or picks in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go Evan Ingram, 4+ receptions, only because New England's 20th against the tight end. So I'm going to just, not that he's going to score, but I'm just going to go 4+ receptions. They give up usually 5, I think, to tight ends.
All right, Mike, what do you got here, man?
Yeah, Joey touched on a good point. Because I was gonna, I like Ingram. I like Ingram for the yardage over, over 15 and a half, because New England, look, in the 2 playoff games, I mean, Schultz, he was two catches for 100% for 40 yards until he got hurt. Even Gadsden was 3 for 3, and going down. I think Dulwich did well against the Dolphins. And I think you go down the line. I think because that's the Patriot defense. They want to keep everything in front of the stick. That's always been their defense. That's been tough, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to force the quarterback to make the mistake. And I think Peyton will probably use Ingram because he's got experience, and he's usually in the past. I mean, Peyton's had success with his tight end, so probably for those. I mean, I don't think he's going to get any maybe big plays, but I think he's going to be a target and hit those 2 props pretty easily with Ingram. I think New England wins the game because I just think they got the defense is also better. It's in the playoffs because they got Williams back. Williams makes a big difference. He showed that against the Chargers. He was good against Houston. They're going to be for a guy that's never had 4 NFL starts. It's going to be difficult. I'm not. It's what scares me is the public. Public's usually like to go against the public.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. I think New England's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a total blowout. Altitude does help them in Denver. The home field, that's a little edge, but I don't know. What's the chances of Dobbins playing? Are they? I don't. he came off at limited. That
he's practicing in limited fashion, I believe, and he's been cleared, so we'll see. They're trying to force that center out there too. He just came off injury reserve too, and he had a full practice today. And Dr. Chow was saying like you never see that, so it's like they're just kind of just gonna wing it. It's do or die, so they're just gonna try to force these guys out there and get the most out of them they can after losing their quarterback too. So
what's the injury with the center?
Well, he missed last game, and then their backup got hurt. I think it would almost be like their third string. I don't even. This is their second string center that's coming back. I think
a leg injury, or
I don't know exactly what his injury is. I think they're going to try to get him back in there.
They just shoot him up for the game, whatever. Yeah. That's what they do when these guys. It's
pump them full of elephant juice.
I think Dobbins will definitely help. Dobbins during.
That's why I was asking. That Dobbins. He's got the
experience. They brought him off of IR. They could have left him on till Tuesday and then taken him off, if they won. So they've got to believe that he's going to play. They had to believe he's healthy enough to take him off IR to throw him out there. So
yeah, that'll be a help.
And I guess we don't find out till tomorrow or maybe even game time. They may see how it is. I don't know. But I would think Dobbins is playing.
Yeah, I still think New
They just don't know because there's no lines on Harvey available for us. At least
no lines on Harvey yet because we don't know what's going on with Dobbins.
But to answer Steve's question in the chat, he asked if Stidham dumps off to Harvey. I absolutely think so. I think Harvey is good for 3+ catches at least.
Especially down some guys. You'd think they try to get him more involved in the passing game.
He should do that every game.
Yeah, he's been pretty good in the passing game.
That's his forte too. He's been in New Orleans. I mean, Christ, that's always been his forte with the running backs.
And now is the time to pull the rabbit out the hat.
Right.
RJ Harvey, get him in the open.
He talks about tight ends all the time. Who's this new quarterback coming in? Who's he going to look to? He's going to try to go dump it off tight end too. What do you think, Josh?
I would say yeah, but. Where's Evan Ingram been all year?
Well, he
needs to earn his keep this week.
Yeah, and my prop bet, like Joe mentioned, I'm going to go right back with for the third time with a Booty over 35.5 yards, -114. If you look at the Buffalo game. The secondary is supposed to be good against Denver. Denver's supposed to have a good secondary, but they're giving up. Jacksonville was able to pass on them.
Bills just scored 30 on them.
I think Diggs might have a little trouble because maybe it's 7, but I think Booty he's a talent. My partner's he's in Baton Rouge. He knows. He told me that's why. I know a little bit about the SEC, specifically LSU guys. Booty's a talent. He is a talent, and he showed it. And I think they're going to use him enough to get him easily over that over. They moved it up 5-6 yards, but I still think it's too low.
Yeah, that was a big time catch by him.
Any concern about Surtain being on him? You think Surtain's shadowing Diggs?
I don't know what they're going to do.
I think they put Diggs in the slot. Don't they?
These
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking
he'll be going against McMillan.
Cook. These guys
got
open.
Surtain on the outside.
Yeah, I think the wide receivers. I don't know. It's tough to be a cornerback in this league, no matter how good you are. And Booty's a talent. He made that. That's a hell of a
Booty only needs one catch to get that 35.5 yards.
He had it already before he caught the touchdown. He had the prop bet done. So I think that'll be pretty easy. And that's my take. And I hope he's Joe's wearing that hat in 2 weeks.
That's right.
Right? That hat stays on for 2 more weeks.
Hey, even if they do try to take out somebody, Pop Douglas looked pretty decent there the other day too. He finally was showing of him. He showed back up.
That's what I'm saying. The Patriots just have so many weapons that they can use, and Denver doesn't really lock down everything. They're not dominant. They're solid, but they're not dominant, in my opinion.
I mean, they might have the players. You're right. They haven't performed. At least in the playoffs.
Collins came off IR too.
And against Jacksonville, Jacksonville moved the ball up and down the field on them.
And Mike, you brought up about how the Patriots struggle against tight ends. It surprised you, when I'm looking at Denver against the tight end, they've given up more yards to the tight end position, more receiving yards than the New England Patriots on less catches.
So Henry probably has a big game
on less receptions.
Henry's probably going to have a nice game.
And another little hidden stat about the Denver defense, although they're number one against the running back in fantasy points allowed, they are third in the league in giving up receiving touchdowns to the running back position with 6, and that's on 7 red zone targets. They've given up 6 touchdowns on 7 targets in the red zone to the running back position. So if
sounds like Ramondre anytime touchdown.
Or Trevion. It could be Trevion too. You never know. I mean, it's just something that I observed.
That's a good point.
Real quick to answer Steve G's question. Yeah, I mean, Stidham in that Raiders game when he played against the Broncos, he was the quarterback for the Broncos against the Raiders. He threw to Javonte 7 times, and he also threw to Samaje Perine 3 times. So that's 10 targets for the running backs. And, they're down guys. I think the RJ Harvey props are actually looking pretty good. But again, depends if Dobbins comes back. Dobbins comes back, that throws a little bit of a wrench into things, but the numbers should drop, maybe get a better value. Joshua says Ramondre got those soft hands. He's always been an underrated receiving back. People kind of forgot about him this year. He's struggling with those fumbles, so it was kind of a concern. We didn't really know what to expect. Trevion coming in, but they're using Ramondre now, and they're going all in on him, even over Trevion. And Trevion had his chances. He played a ton in the first half. He didn't really do anything. So they went to Ramondre in the second half, and he got the job done. But, yeah, I'm going to go – there's one other thing. I just wanted to talk about the usage real quick. Hold on. Let me just duck my head real quick and then talk about the usage. Ramondre got the usage in the second half. Demario Douglas, he ran 14 routes. Chisholm was dialed down, just 3 routes. Kyle Williams also 14 routes. And then Boudet was elevated, 83% snap share. That was the most by far, just 55% for Diggs. But him and Diggs ran the most route, 28 and 27. And then for the Broncos, we'll see how it works out. Little Jordan Humphrey got the second most snaps. 72% of the route share. Marvin Mims 70% of the snap share. We'll have to see if Pat Bryant is officially cleared. It sounds like he is, according to these guys. He practiced in full today, and it doesn't sound like Troy Franklin's going to be back. So that's going to be a lot more Pat Bryant this week, and he was dominating early and often in that game. All right, so I'm going to go with I think Stidham's going to fare a little bit better than most people think. I think he'll play pretty solid based on he's been in the system for a few years. And if they get Pat Bryant and Dobbins back, I think it's going to be solid. Everybody and their mother seems to be betting on the Patriots. So that's kind of like when I go the other way. And I've doubted the Patriots. I bet against the Patriots the first 2 weeks. So maybe the third time is a charm here. I'll go plus 4.5 here. I think they could at least cover this game if they don't win. I don't think anybody wants to see Jarrett Stidham in the Super Bowl, and I don't know if the NFL does either. So we should see Drake May in the Super Bowl. Hopefully it's not Jarrett Stidham, but I think they'll cover. And then I'm going to go over 42.5. I think New England will move the ball, and I think Stidham's going to be able to move the ball a little bit more than people think. So I'm going to go over there. The weather's not going to be an issue. I'm going to go Drake May over 30.5 rushing yards. Mariota ran for 55. Trey Lance ran for 69. and Allen ran for 64 last week. It's the freaking AFC Championship. Drake May is going to bring his legs out to play in this one. So I like that one a lot, actually. Mims over 1.5 rushing yards. I think I like that as well, since they're down some guys. No Franklin. I think they may pull Mims' run here. And if Bryant plays, I like over 31.5 receiving yards for him. And I may go Ingram over 2.5 catches, but you guys seem to have the Ingram covered. So let's go Denver plus 45.5. For my best bet in this game, I'm going to go with the Drake May over 30.5 rushing yards, though. And then if you could find a good number on Bergalis over 1.5 field goals, I feel like he'll definitely kick 2 field goals. I have minus 150
I like that.
on Hard Rock. But if you could find like a minus 130, minus 120, I think Bergalis is going to kick at least 2 field goals in this game. And he's been really solid down the stretch.
Oh, yeah, he's been excellent.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add anything here before we get into the next game?
Dan's prop that he sent in is Ramondre over 72.5 total yards rushing and receiving.
And Dan was 4 for 4 last week.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden he's.
He told Josh about how many times did he tell you about that, Josh?
It's been at least 10 times in the last 4 days. Yeah, at least 10 times. But that's all right. I would probably be right there with him if I was batting.
He's feeling good, man.
800 on the playoffs like he is.
Hey, he's feeling good. He's having good days because of it. Let the man have his positive emotions.
Absolutely. You just better stay hot, as we go into the off season and start drafting for next year. Let's just stay hot with this stuff.
Taking the wife and kids out to Chili's this weekend, wherever. I don't know. All right. All right. So I think we covered that game pretty well. Let's move on to the Sunday night game. Going to be Seattle at home against the Rams. And this is the third matchup, this year between the two teams. The first matchup, the Rams won 21-19. The second matchup, Darnold struggled heavily in the first half. He comes back, steps up. They win in overtime 38-37. And Rams are getting 2.5 here on the road. Over under is 46.5. Mike, I'll start with you on this one. What do you like?
Well, in the game, it's I like the Rams, big time. When I see a 2.5, I usually like the underdog anyway. And I just think that last game they played, I think the Rams beat themselves, and I don't think Adams was. I think he was out, right?
He was
Adams
out.
Was out, yeah.
He was out that game.
Puka went crazy in that game.
But I just think I think the issue is going to be Darnold. I don't think he's going to be needed. He wasn't needed. Frisco ran out of gas. I mean, that was kind of obvious. Going West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, it's undermanned. That Kittle injury took a lot out. That's tough. Yeah. They were just undermanned. I mean, so, and I think the Rams are going to win. I mean, one thing I want to touch on. I asked you guys last week on the Seattle game. I mentioned, on Cooper Kupp. And I just thought he was going to be involved. Experience. Guy, these coach, he's been there and he was key when they needed him, when the game was still in, the first half. They're going to go to him. And I can get to it. That's going to be my prop over Cooper Kupp over 29.5 yards. I think that's easy. I mean, he's smart. He's not, he's healthy. I mean, he might not be, he's older, but he might not have that, acceleration or, those, the quick moves like you used to have back 3-4 years ago. But he's going to be savvy enough to get that done, and that's going to be help because they're going to need him. I mean, he's going to be counted on because that's, if they want to, move the ball down the field because I just don't think Darnold's. I think that's the problem. I think he's I think he's going to do what he did last year. He's not going to rise to the big moment. And I think the Rams are going to, they got that one under their belt, two tough games. But I think they got the experience, and I think they're going to be itching for, that rematch. They should have won that game in Seattle the last time. They gave the game away. I mean, Stafford was unbelievable, and they didn't capitalize. Made too many mistakes. I think it's going to be. I think the Rams are going to. I don't know if they're going to double digits or anything, but I think they're going to win the game. But that's my prop bet is is Cooper Kupp, the over. I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be pretty easy too.
All right, what's the number you got? What's the number you got on that one?
29.5 receiving yards, minus 110. I saw.
All right. Yeah, Rams last week, 11 personnel 90% of the time. So that's a different than what we've been seeing with this 13 personnel they've been running. But you have to think they probably go back more to the 13 personnel. I know Seattle likes to play a lot of nickel and dime defense, so they bring out that heavy package. And Kyron's had 2 pretty good games against them as well, running the football, and has had a lot of carries. Josh, what do you got in this game?
I mean, I think Adams being back out there should help Stafford. I think it's going to be really close. I want the Rams to win, so that's who I'm going to go with. I think they utilize the tight ends a lot in this game. I think Seattle's going to do, like we mentioned about the Patriots, keeping things in front of them. I think that's going to be a big deal. So I went for my prop. I went Parkinson over 24.5 yards, and Dan Higbee's been hot for him in the playoffs. He's went with his over on yardage the first 2 weeks, so he's going with it again with Higbee over 15.5. So I think both of those hit. I think they utilize those guys, and I don't know. It's when it's a division rival and you're in that third matchup, man, they pull out all the stops, and McVay's the veteran coach here, so I lean with McVay on it, and it'll come down to Stafford. I mean, if this is truly, if Stafford can make it to a Super Bowl and win, and he's done, then there's a lot of he's feeling a lot of pressure right now. But I don't know. This is going to be a good game. I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag out, in my opinion. But I don't know.
Colby Parkinson played the most snaps last week, 68%, 19 routes. Ferguson played 30%, 18 routes. Higbee was just 10%, 8 routes, and Davis Allen was 12% with 1 route. But we'll see. I mean, they could kind of change that game to game. Again, I do expect a lot more 13 personnel this game from the Rams after running 90% 11, which is what McVay has historically ran. He's kind of brought this 13 personnel out of nowhere this year. Also, just wanted to add one more thing on this game, and then we'll get to you, Joey. I just wanted to go over the bet percentage on this game. Rams getting 70. Actually, I'm sorry. The Seahawks are getting 70% of the cash and 59% of the tickets. So, interestingly enough, people are all in on Seattle right now.
I like
Joe,
that.
What do you got here?
Me feel good.
Yeah.
But
I remember a few months back I said I thought the Rams was the best team, but I'm going Seattle this game. I just think they get it done. And my prop, believe it or not, I'm going Jason Myers 2+ field goals in a close one. He was a hot field goal kicker down the stretch for a while there. But they have to manage the game. They have to keep Steve's guy he used last week, Kenneth Walker. They've got to manage this game in a way, and their defense has got to step up, and they got to put pressure on Stafford, because Sam Darnold has thrown 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in the 2 games against the Rams. You got to try to take it out of his hands. So I think the running game has to be used. But even though Darnold was bad, JSN was still good those 2 games. So they're going to move the ball. Walker's going to he's playing for a contract too, and if they get him to the Super Bowl. But I'm going to go see that game.
Does Seattle have a choice but to sign Walker now that Charbonnet went down with ACL?
They're going to sign Walker, and then they're going to bring in Jamal Williams and give him all the goal line carries next year.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna draft Walker again. Have to suffer for drafting talent and the coaching.
Who was the guy
for
the Chargers that used to score all the goal line touchdowns? What was that guy's name? Do you guys remember what I'm talking about? He was like a little bowling ball. Was it
Michael Turner?
Was it Tolbert?
Oh, Tolbert.
Mike Tolbert. Mike
Tolbert.
Yeah, they're going to bring him in. Yeah.
Amazing how fast you forget these guys.
Oh, God.
Peyton Hillis. Yeah.
Peyton Hillis.
There's another one. Yeah, the goal.
Yeah, I remember my first year doing fantasy, or like my second year doing fantasy football, and I drafted Barry Sanders. And I remember Barry would have like a 60-yard run, and he'd get knocked out like the 2-yard line. I think their fullback was Corey Schlesinger, and they used to bring him in. Right. He would get the touchdown. I'm like, the hell is this? So, you just can't control it sometimes. Barry would get 1,500 yards and 5 touchdowns, whatever it was.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to go next here? Mike? Oh, do we get your opinion on this game yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the last one to go here?
Me and you.
Oh, Joe, you go first. Go ahead.
All right. So I just want to say this game, of the 2 games, this is the game that's got all the good props in it. I think there's a lot to target here. I have 6 or 7 that I think could come into play. Couple of key numbers I want to touch on between these 2 teams in their first 2 matchups. Kenneth Walker. He had 67 yards rushing and a touchdown, and 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. I thought I wrote down the carries, but I guess I didn't. In both games, he had 3 receptions in both games. One for 44 yards, one for 64 yards. So he's 6 catches, 108 yards in the two games. He's got a total of 33 touches for 275 yards, 8.3 yards per touch in the 2 games that they've played. Zach Charbonnet is out of the picture. So I absolutely think that, Kenneth Walker is going to thrive on volume alone. Obviously, the efficiency might go down a little bit with the more touches. But I could easily see him. I have him down. One of my props for him is 4+ receptions. That's at +128. Him and Charbonnet combined for 7 receptions in one game and 5 in another. So, like I mentioned, Charbonnet's out of the picture. Kenneth Walker has been effective in, 6 catches for 108 yards. You're talking, 16, 17 yards a catch. I could see him easily getting four receptions here. I like his total yards. I didn't see what it was at. I know the Russian prop is at 85.5, but my safe one, my favorite Kenneth Walker one is the 4+ receptions at +128. Both of these teams struggle against the tight end. I know late in the season last year, Tyler Higbee had a big game. It was Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback, but Higbee is effective against the Seahawks defense here. You guys touched on it earlier. Seattle likes to keep everything in front of them. I could see all the tight ends being utilized. I like Ferguson, 25 plus receiving yards. He's been, he gets like the long reception. Yeah. So I think
if he bet, Joe.
It is a ladder bet. Yeah, most of these are all ladders because I do think it's going to be not a shootout, but I do think it's going to be a competitive back and forth type of game. I could see there being some field goals involved as well, but Ferguson 25 plus receiving yards, that's at plus 171. AJ Bonner had, he had 10 catches the first time they played, and then he had, I believe it was, AJ Bonner, 4 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown in the second game. The first game with the Rams won, he had 10 catches for 70 yards. So he's got 14 receptions over two games. He's gone over 40 yards both times. So I like AJ Bonner, 40 plus receiving yards. That's at plus 164 right now on DraftKings. With Zach Charbonnet out, I could see Rashid Shaheed getting involved in the run game. So, his 15 plus rushing yards, that's also laddered. I believe it's plus 106 at 10 plus rushing yards, but with 15 plus rushing yards, it's at plus 199. I like those odds a lot better. And I do think that if he gets 2 or, I could see him getting 3 carries, but if he gets 2 carries, I think he hits that 15-yard marker. Dan brought, Dan has the Higbee one, so I won't even touch on Higbee. And I got the Rams winning this game. I do think it's going to be close, but the difference here is the quarterback matchup. Sam Darnold versus Matt Stafford. Darnold has 6 interceptions thrown against the Rams this year in 2 games. He looked real bad in the last one, 4 interceptions. The turnover ratios, 7 giveaway for the Seahawks, only 1 for the Rams. So the Rams have a +6 on them. I do think that's going to be an issue for Seattle. The Rams defensive line can get at, they didn't sack Donald the last game, but in the first time they played, they had 4 sacks. I believe that they will be able to get pressure on Donald. I think McVay, especially if the Rams build a little bit of a lead or if they take an early lead, maybe they go after Donald. They blitz a little bit more, put some pressure on him, some disguised looks and whatnot. I just think that's the difference in this game, the quarterback matchup. And let's see, did I leave any props out? No, I think I got all the props there. Yeah, I did a bunch of 3 and 4 leg parlays. I mixed and matched them, and I did a couple of straight up bets as well with all of these that I mentioned. So,
which one's your lock for our parlay?
Which one is my best bet is AJ Bonner 40 plus receiving yards.
AJ Bonner. All right.
Steve, before you go, I want to give you a shout out. Steve finished the college football season 2-0 on Monday. He gave you Miami plus the points and the over. I think he swept the board in the semis. Even before that. So Steve, where you going now with next week?
I'm going to college basketball now. We'll give right to college basketball. I watch a ton more than that.
Greek Island for about a month or so.
Steve, you got to get me watching because when I watch, I'm pretty good at it.
College basketball?
But I haven't watched in years. I got to get into it again. Yeah, I love college. Yeah. College basketball over NBA for me all day long.
Yeah,
we documented football picks.
You guys, if you guys are interested, you can hop into the pool I do too at the end, and for the tournament. So,
yeah,
we can do that. And
to a Final
It
Four.
was a playoff bet, though. A college football playoff bet. I don't think you did.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, yeah. Once the playoffs started going in, yeah, it was amazing.
Bowl game.
I didn't watch all year. I was just looking at the
Navy
schedule.
or something. I forget who the other team was, and then you just swept it.
Yeah, I was really fortunate, man. I mean,
I should have, man.
I
Anybody
think, honestly, I feel like college is easier to bet on than the pros. I feel like it's just easier to
right,
because you get those dominant performances, and it just seems like it's easier. But
hats off to you. That was
yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. It was a kind of a slow game in the first half. It picked up, and I got kind of fortunate with those overs.
Money's money. Winning's winning.
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. I mean, it's always going to be close, right? All right. Well, I'm going to go. Rams minus 2.5. I like the fact that the public or most the bets are on Seattle at this point. That could shift as we get closer on. I'm kind of surprised at that actually. Based on Darnold. I'm going to go over 46.5 as well. I think that Darnold's going to find JSN. I think Shaheed, Kenny Walker will have some room. They'll put up some points. And I think Stafford and company will be able to run the ball. And we already saw what Puka did the first two games. He had that monster, was it a 200-yard game he had against them?
12 catches and 2 touchdowns. I don't recall
I believe he had 225 yards.
Yeah, he did have 225 in
the first game. I think he had 70 yards and a bunch of catches too. And you still got Devontae Adams and Kyron had pretty good success in both games. We'll see what the tight ends do, but I like the over. I like the over in this game in the Rams minus 2.5. Darnold, Joe kind of mentioned it, 7 interceptions in his last 5 games. So I think we could see another interception here from him. You got to pay a premium though, minus 150. Stafford over 2 touchdowns, minus 130. He's thrown over 1.5, and over 1.5 touchdowns rather, minus 130. He's thrown 2 touchdowns in both matchups this year. Kyron over 55.5 rushing yards. I think they'll lean on him a little bit more than Corum. I'm going to go Walker over 23.5 receiving yards. Now that Charbonnet's out of the way, they really have to feature Walker. He's just an explosive player. He went over that number in both matchups this year as well. JSN over 90.5 receiving yards. I just think that's the one weakness of the Rams, and I'm going to take that as well. Terrence Ferguson over 1.5 catches plus 140. I think that's really good value. And then over 14.5 receiving yards for him as well. Joe laddered it up. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens this weekend. I think we all are hoping that we see a Drake May, Matthew Stafford Super Bowl, but we really could get anything. We could get a Stidham freaking Sam Darnold Super Bowl, which again may take the kids to Chuck E. Cheese for that one. But
I told you, that happens. You're gonna have to wait for an hour, 2 hours or something. You're gonna be Chuck E. Cheese are gonna be packed.
Yeah, I'll be watching on my phone.
You'll be watching with your phone. You're waiting for your.
I'll be on that little ride that goes up and down. I'll be on that with my daughter watching on my phone. All right, I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered everything.
Which bet are you going with for the parlay, Steve?
Oh yeah,
I'll make sure I get the right one down. Hit this week. One of these two, if not both.
Let's go with the Rams minus 2.5. I'll make it simple here. Come on, we got Stafford and McVay.
Isn't it the Rams plus 2.5?
A plus 2.5. My bad.
Yeah, plus 2. That's what I'm saying.
There you go. Plus 2.5. Yeah, so that just shows you how much I'm expecting the Rams to win. I mean, I'm picking up minus 2.5, which I think they should be favored in this game.
I agree.
I agree with that.
But yeah, Stafford and McVay. I mean, these guys. It just seems like both of these guys are going to get 2 rings, and this seems like the total spot here. Again, the same thing they said about Allen. No Lamar. He's not going to face Allen. He's not going to face Mahomes. He's not going to face Burrow. Drake May, if he faces him, he definitely could do it, but he's still, second year in his career. So, a lot of these quarterbacks, they get 2 titles. We've seen Peyton Manning do it. We've seen Eli Manning do it. John Elway, countless quarterbacks, Staubach, Harbaugh, Bradshaw, countless quarterbacks throughout the years. The great ones get it done. They get one or two. They get those 2-3 titles in their resume. And McVay as well. The great coaches seem to get multiple titles as well. So, I mean, this just seems like the Rams' year to get it done. It's wide open for them. They got to go against Sam Darnold, a second-year quarterback, or possibly a fill-in backup quarterback. So it's got to be the Rams' year. They got to see this opportunity and smash it. So I'll go Rams -2.5. I mean, +2.5 rather.
It's almost like deja vu. It's going to be Brady beating the greatest show on turf. Is it going to be May upsetting Stafford? It's almost riding out like that, though.
That's true. Warner only got how many Super Bowls did he win? One, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he went 3, but he only won one.
As a Patriots fan, I will say I think the Rams are the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I think the defensive line for the Rams would pose issues for Drake May, and I think that if it come down to a turnover battle, I'm saying that Matt Stafford is probably going to not turn the ball over, and Drake May maybe will. So that's kind of how I'm. If it does end up with those two teams, I would say that I would lean Rams as the favorite for sure.
Could be another New England rematch with Seattle again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I mean, the Patriots defense plays lights out again, and if they completely shut off Denver, then I mean, well, then again, the Rams are a whole nother animal. You got to deal with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, and there's elite talent all over the Rams offense. So,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I wouldn't feel good about the Patriots' chances against the Rams.
Current Super Bowl odds: Seattle was the favorite from the jump. They're still the favorite, +155. Rams +200. New England +250, and Broncos, if you want to go with that Nick Foles, Jeff Hostetler bet, +1100. So 11 to 1 there for the Broncos. I kind of feel a little bit down on my over pick in the Broncos game. I could definitely see it going under. I could see kind of like the Broncos defense stepping up for their offense a little bit more here in this matchup. And then, obviously the Patriots could shut down Jared Stidham, but I'll stick with my original pick. But I do like the over more in the Rams game. And I kind of like the Broncos +4.5 more than the over as well. All right. And that's it. Anybody else want to add anything?
Go Patriots and go Rams.
Go Patriots, go Rams.
Oh, yeah, Steve, I think we're all going to hop on planes and head down to your place. I think you're the only one that's avoiding feet of snow this weekend.
It's going to be 75 here tomorrow.
Yeah, they just upped it over here to 24.
Steve, you could add up
to 24 inches.
Philly's high temperatures. You could add it up for the next 7 days. It's not going to equal 75. I tell you that.
Nice. Well,
Steve let us know what happens in ball games because none of us might not have electricity.
Can you believe the Seahawks are Super Bowl favorites? Back in August, there was a good chunk of people that were calling them a rebuilding team.
Yeah, amazing. The only thing I'll say is McDonald. I don't know if you guys saw that before the year. He did like a speech and he was talking about them getting to the championship game. So they are in the championship game. So he visualized it and it happened, but maybe he should have said the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens. Nobody, again, we'll see what happens. Their defense is really, really good, but I think the Rams get it done. All right. Well, we'll be back next week. Maybe we'll kind of mix it up. Yeah, we'll be back next week. We'll kind of maybe we'll do like a fantasy lessons learned and do like a little bit of a preview as well, and then we'll get into a full preview the following week for the Super Bowl. But we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out.
College basketball.
Maybe we'll know who our coaches are.
He will have his college basketball. We got to write Steve at college.
Yeah. I mean, college basketball. I'll start picking up a little bit after the Super Bowl. Now. Yeah, I don't know, man. I pulled something out of my ass for sure. Though.
Like going back to Steve G and all the coaching, like y'all talking, that's a whole different animal to figure out. Okay, is these players good? And this coaching tree break down a lot. These fantasy players, like
Yeah.
if we break it up Hampton, we might figure out somebody. Okay, this player ain't gonna do as good in this system. So it's fantasy football 2026 has already started about these coaching changes.
What was the narrative in the offseason, though? Clint Kubiak, he's the most successful at producing running backs.
Zone running scheme.
Yeah, and Kenny, and there's all Kenny Walker. And so it's like, it's like you analyze it right, but again, sometimes maybe you fade the popular opinions too, So it's like, there's so much noise out there, and you kind of get sucked into one opinion sometimes. So that's why it's always kind of good to just formulate your own opinion and just ride or die with it sometimes too.
Joey's right about the coaches. I mean, you got, Joey, we got an offense where Buffalo, there's Baltimore.
Yeah, it's huge.
What's happening in Pittsburgh? It's so tough to predict now, in terms, because a lot's going to happen, trades, coaches, the draft. I mean, it's
there's a lot of big running back carousel this year too.
Right. I mean,
exactly. I mean,
Walker's a free agent, right? He's an unrestricted.
Who?
Who?
Kenny Walker's an unrestricted.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see somebody mention. You might
Dallas,
see Kansas City.
Kansas City.
I actually
Dallas, Breece Hall. Where's he going to go?
I think Rashad White is perfect for Kansas City. Because I don't see them really dropping a ton of money on the position, to be honest with you. And I think Rashad White isn't going to go for what Breece Hall's going for, and
they already had a chance for Breece Hall,
Walk,
third round pick or whatever it was, fourth round pick, and they passed on it. So
I think he could go to Dallas, right? Maybe, I don't know. He's going to go some. He's not going to go with the Jets. That's for sure.
Yeah. I could see the Jets and I think Breece Hall accepts it too, just because he's still only 24 years old. I could see him signing a 1 or a 2 year deal with the Jets. Good money, like probably 13, 14 million per season, maybe even more. It depends. But I do think the Jets pony up some cash to keep him around. I don't see them letting him. I don't see them letting him walk. Maybe they give him that that short term contract, and then they try to find a trade if they want to part ways with them. But I just don't.
Probably bad news for Breece Hall in fantasy.
Yeah,
he's unrestricted, right?
I just kind of. I mean, what are the Jets going to do if he walks?
Breece Hall?
What's that?
He's unrestricted.
Yeah, they got.
He's got to look for big money nowadays. Does he want to stay with the Jets and he get a big? I mean, who's his stats are not going to. He's going to take. Somebody's got to give him a lot of money.
What I'm saying is, I could see him not finding the right deal.
Really? You don't think?
Yeah, I don't think teams are going to pay him what the Jets will for like a 1 or a 2 year deal, and then I could see the Jets finally trading him if once they decide that it's not working out and they want to part ways. I mean, if he walks from the Jets and they get nothing out of it, I mean, that would just I mean, I've seen worse from the Jets, I suppose, but still, he's just so young I could see him not.
You guys want to know the worst thing the Jets ever did? I wanted them to take Ed Reed. They took Brian Thomas, this DN, who wasn't terrible, but I loved Ed Reed. They passed on him. Obviously, they passed on Josh Allen. But the worst thing they ever did was the Herm Edwards, Mike Tannenbaum era, and I think it was Mike Tannenbaum. They traded away their first round pick for Doug Jolly, the tight end from the Raiders, who was absolutely, he had one good year, and they traded away a first round pick for him. And then their second round pick, they took Mike Nugent, the kicker from Ohio State. So I mean, it's just like, can you get any worse than that? I mean,
he was terrible. I think they took him off ESPN, right? He's not.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
took
with
him
him.
off
I
the-
think he's
he's
still
so-
got
he's-
some influence with some teams.
I don't understand. I don't know. The guy, he's terrible.
But like Joey said, we'll try to touch on some of these coaching changes.
Yeah,
And,
and the
we'll do
fallout
some
from
lessons,
it.
a
Yeah.
little bit of
Yeah.
lessons learned. We'll do a slight preview
Yeah.
for the, but we'll come back next week with something for sure. So make sure you guys are liking, subscribing to the show, following us all on X at the handles below our names. But we'll close the show with the more featured Drake May intro, and then we'll go to the outro. And we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the games this weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Get those snow blowers out. Maybe those robot snow blowers out.
One good thing I don't have.
Maybe
to
come down
I
to
don't-
Florida before the snow hits. So
Great, that's perks of living in the city.
yeah, no doubt. You got it all taken care of. All right, guys, take care. All the best.
Go Pats.